Well, they're going to let me ride home this 1200 RS. Started up pretty easy. Well, maybe we can do a little comparison. It's got a little different dash, doesn't it? Can't leave it like it is right now. Kind of clunk. Yeah, it's exactly snicking the gear, does it? Front's got a nice feel to it. Back's a little stronger than maybe the 765 was. It's a little simpler, isn't it, on the gauges? It's just showing you, shows you the fuel, the gear, RPM, miles per hour, clock, temperature in this setting. Out with the 765 RS, in with the 1200 RS. I thought I might start off with some comparisons between the 1200 Speed Triple RS here and the 765 Street Triple RS that I already looked at, for those of you like me who might be interested in both. So let's start off with the ergonomics. I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison with the Speed Triple being on the left and the Street Triple being on the right. You notice on the Street Triple your arms are a little bit farther angled down, and on the Speed Triple your legs are a little bit farther back. Next few slides I'm going to use a white line from the Street Triple and superimpose it over on the Speed Triple. As you can see, on the Speed Triple you're setting up a little bit higher than you were on the Street Triple. As you can see in this slide, your knee angle is a little higher on the Speed Triple than it is the Street Triple. Let me show you why. The Speed Triple gives you about over an inch and a half more distance from the ground to the foot peg, but it takes it away. It has about an inch less distance from the foot peg to the seat height, so that's why their legs are bent like that. So with the Speed Triple you'll get more cornering clearance, but you'll have less room for your legs on the Speed Triple. As you can see from this slide, you can tell that the Speed Triple handlebars are up a little higher than the Street Triple. But you can also see that the reach is a little bit further out than on the Street Triple. So my overall ergonomics rating for the Speed Triple is a 4, between 101 and 150 miles. Handlebar height is a little bit better than the Street Triple, but the seat to foot peg distance is a little worse. Seat comfort is about the same. I think they're the same seats. The seat height on the 2022 spec Street Triple is a little bit shorter than the Speed Triple. Let's start a walk up into the front of the motorcycle. In the front we have front brakes are twin Brembo Stylema 320 millimeter front disc, which are really good. Now let's move up to the top where we can see what really makes this work. Is this Radical master cylinder with a separate reservoir and the MCS span and ratio adjuster that makes this system work well. So let's take a look at the peek at the rear brake now. What we have here is a single 220 millimeter disc Brembo twin piston caliper, and it works a little bit better than I think the 765 does. So overall I'm going to give this brake rating system a 6. Now let's start with the front suspension. Good one. We got up front, we got the Öhlins NX upside down forks, adjustable for preload, rebound, and compression dampening. Let's start with these 43 millimeter upside down forks. Get 120 millimeters of travel. You adjust the preload there where I have the Allen wrench by just turning it left or right. On the brake side, you have the rebound dampening. You can adjust it by turning the little nut there you see in blue. Now the compression dampening is on the clutch side fork leg, and it's the same way you adjust the rebound dampening. So overall, I give the front fork rating as a 4. Let's move on to the rear shocks. In the rear we have one monoshock there, and it gives you 120 millimeters of travel. The preload's where those knuckle busters are, where the arrow is pointing. So now you also have rebound and compression dampening, where those two knobs are. The left is the rebound and the right is compression dampening. So the rider can go ahead and tune it just about the way he wants it. So I'm giving this a rating of a 4 also. As far as technology goes, the Speed Triple's kind of loaded with it. It's got a shift assist, slipper clutch, switchable traction control and ABS, cornering ABS, and traction control. It's got My Triumph connectivity already connected, and it has a full keyless system in addition. The 5 riding modes, a 5-inch color, full color TFT, and the rating I would give this for technology would be a 6. Let's continue on with a walk around. On the left hand side we have the cruise control switch, and on the right hand side we'll have the you can see the switch gear there, and over in the gas cap we have gas caps locked with a fob. Short fender here is going to cause mud problems. We have our right here we have our oil filter, which is going to cause a little bit of problem once we get to draining the oil. Then we have where our shift assist is, and then we have where the coolant tank resides. Did not see the cap for the coolant tank there like it did on 765. Moving to the gas tank, I'm going to give the fuel range a 4 rating, since it has a 4.1 gallon tank, estimated 37.3 miles per US gallons, so it gives it a range of around 153 miles. Interesting to note, the exhaust pipe has a flapper valve in it like my BMW. It has a beautiful single-sided swing arm. However, that's going to necessitate a special stand to do chain maintenance. However, the 90-degree valve stem is going to make it a lot easier to air up the tires and check the tires. The battery's cutoff switch and the oil fills is located here. The oil sight glass is also on the right hand side. Let's take a quick look at the lights. You get your driving lights here on the front, the DRLs, which really look nice. The low beam is just single-sided. You switch to high beam, you see both. The backlit switches are really nice. The 765 didn't have those. The tail light, it looks pretty unique, and I really like the way that looks, and it's pretty bright when you hit the brake light. Like I mentioned earlier, taking off the seat is important for me. There's got a little plug there. There's 2 Allen wrenches you're going to need to take off everything. They got a little tool kit, but I don't know where you're supposed to keep the tool kit. So the screw's pretty long, so I had to take it out with a magnet there. Then you just kind of slip the seat off. It's not as hard as I make it out to do. I just didn't know how to do it. Okay, once you get that off, then you need to get your other Allen wrench and take the 2 bolts off there. Once you get the 2 bolts off, you just lift up the seat, then you'll have access to the battery and fuses. I mentioned the flapper before, and you can actually see the flapper if you shine your light down one of the big exhaust. You can't see it really well here, but it does. You can see it move. Before we take it out and see how easy it is to push out of the garage, give it a tire rating. We're going to give it a 3 here out of 5. And the reason I'm not giving it a higher grade is because the tires are really soft, and they're not that great in the rain or the cold. We're going to see how easy or hard the Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS just to push out of the garage. Comes off the stand pretty easy. The stand's up high enough. Like the 765, it doesn't have a handhold. And let's see how it goes getting out of the garage. Easy peasy so far. I have to check the weights. I know the 1200 should be heavier, but make sure I do the stand up. It doesn't have the turning radius of the 765, it doesn't seem like. So I have to give this a grade of 7.5 out of 10. Easy to move out of the garage. I'm going to give it a 2 out of the 4 because it doesn't really have that greater turning radius and it doesn't have a handhold. For weight, I'm going to rate it as a 4 because it only weighs 437 pounds. Quite a bit more torque just leaving the off idle than a 765. Yeah, in fact, it's so easy. It's jumping a little bit on me. I'm giving it too much on the shifts. Both this front brake seems really good. The back brake seems a little bit better than the 765. Seems like you got more ground clearance on this bike than the 765. I think the 765 is about 12 inches. This feels like it's a couple inches higher. So that may explain the difference why the the foot peg is actually longer on the 765 than it is on this bike. Shifting up, fine. I think if I had to rate this bike, I'd have to put it in the. Of course, you put it in a naked bike, all right. I'd put it in a heavyweight naked bike category, where it's engine size and horsepower. And your expectations would probably be a little higher because it's in heavyweight and it costs more money. This does have a cruise control on it, which is pretty nice. It would really be nice if these bikes came with heated hand grips. I'm telling you, really nice. As far as touring, I give this bike a 4. It has the cruise control. You can get heated hand grips, tail bag, and tank bag. Shock settings and stuff are stock, and it feels good. I mean, I wouldn't immediately think it's either hard or soft the way it's riding. So oh yeah, it's definitely got a little bit more punch than the 765. Well, I do appreciate the boys of Indian and Triumph of Boise let me take this bike home after they repossessed the 765. Let me ride this home. That was really nice of them. I appreciate it. They're nice folks here. I like doing business with them. I think I bought 3 motorcycles here. So that says about all I need to say about what I think of these guys. And maybe they'll let me take an Indian. So before I started, I said my ideal expectation for a heavyweight naked bike like this would be a score of 81. So I scored this a 78. Now your scores may vary from mine as your categories of importance vary from mine. Overall, in the different categories, I'd say that it was a little bit better, exceeded my expectations for handlebars and technology, and was a little less than I wanted for the seat to the foot peg height and the ease to move in the garage due to the turning radius. And also, I'd rather have some tires that had a little bit more durability than the tires that they have on it. For me, I expect the bike to score at least 90% before I consider it of what I expected, and it's graded out at 96%. So I consider it a worthy contender for sure. And if I was looking for a heavyweight naked bike, this would be on top of my list. However, I personally would rather have a middleweight naked like the Triumph Street Triple RS to make mine. In red, please. This is my second review, and I think I might change the format of my next reviews and try to concentrate a little bit more on the riding, if I can get a little bit longer demo rides to get a little bit better feeling of the bike itself to you. Join me and my friends at Flat Cap Cafe Racer for riding and racing. Please subscribe.